Today I'm going to review this book, Jiu-Jitsu University by Saulo Ribeiro. This is a pretty good book. I mean, it's difficult to learn Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from a book, but if you're going to learn some techniques from a book, this is a great one to do it from. It's kind of a classic. It was written by Saulo Ribeiro, and it looks like 2008. 2008 was the date that this book came out. And he basically breaks it down. You can even see on the end of the book here that he goes by belt colors. So it's kind of like white belt, blue belt, purple, brown, and black. And he kind of breaks it down in this book. He says during white belt, you should be focused mostly on survival, learning how to survive and not get submitted or not get put in bad situations. So the techniques at white belt in this book are based mostly on survival, pretty much all on survival. And survival in all positions like mount, bottom of side control, bottom of knee on stomach, things like that. So that's your goal for white belt, is surviving all those positions. He also talks about survival and how it changes as you age, and how it's important for your safety as you age, that you train not just to win, but to not lose, which is the classic jiu-jitsu philosophy, that if you are not losing, that you win. So positioning yourself for survival, that's the white belt goal. Then it goes on to blue belt, and it talks about escapes. So the primary goal for blue belt in this book, in this curriculum, is to escape bad positions. So you've already worked on as a white belt, learning to survive and not get tapped out, not get put in too bad positions that are too bad. And now you're going to learn to escape bad positions. And that's the goal of blue belt. So you're learning to survive and escape all of the bad positions, learning how to escape from the bottom of a mount, and learning how to time this properly. There's usually in movement, the escapes occur, while the opponent is moving, because as they move, there's usually a hole of escape, or sometimes their weight goes one way and then you move toward the hole where there isn't any weight, and then they shift and then there's another escape. So you have to be real sensitive to that. So as a white belt, you've learned to survive. And as a blue belt, you've learned to escape bad positions. Then he goes on to purple belt in this curriculum, and he talks about the purple belt goal, which is guard. So he shows a lot of things from guard in this position, different positions, different guards, and how to control somebody from guard. And he calls guard your safety net when things go wrong. So basically, guard is keeping them from getting on top of you. So if you have a good guard, they're not going to get to mount, they're not going to get to side mount, they're not going to get to knee on stomach and things like that. You keep them in between your legs, or use your legs so that they can't get on top of you. And you want to, he says, control the space without pushing, because you don't want to use your energy. So without using your energy, you want to control that space using frames and things like that. He also comments that you should do an open guard before a closed guard, because he says that sometimes people use closed guard because they're afraid. They're afraid that if they open their guard, that the opponent will pass their guard and get on top of them. But he says it's better to just do your open guard before the closed guard, because then you develop skill with your open guard and you don't have to be so afraid. You have belief and skill in your open guard, and they still can't pass. Instead of just closing your guard and never really working on that skill. So that was your purple belt goal, guard. And then he goes to brown belt. And at the brown belt level, he talks about passing the guard. So you have to be able to pass the opponent's guard, all their guards, butterfly guard, spider guard, closed guard, half guard, Z guard, whatever it is. So you want to be able to pass your opponent's guard and all types of guards. And that's the goal for brown belt. And then he goes in finally to black belt. And it's at that black belt level that he really focuses on submissions. And it's not that you don't work on submissions all through the curriculum, but you focus primarily on that because you have a good foundation. You can survive, you can escape whenever you want, you can keep someone away with your guard, and you can pass somebody's guard. Now it's the time to work on your submissions once you can do all that successfully. And that's the goal for black belt, working on your submissions, getting your submissions down. Now, he said, the submission is the only thing that you need to do in jiu-jitsu where you might have to use some strength. So if you're doing things correctly, you're using positioning and leveraging and everything like that. But he says when you use the submission, or like a choke, for example, there's going to have to be some, he said there's some strength used, to constrict the choke a little bit. And he said that's the only time that you would have that. And that's basically the book. There's lots of pictures, high quality pictures in this book, and it goes through lots of material. There is 368 pages in this book, all with good quality pictures and good techniques. And then I thought I'd close by reading one of the things he wrote here at the beginning of the book. He says, this is a quote by Saulo Ribeiro, and you hear this quote a lot, but it says, "If you think you are late, if you are late, you use strength. If you use strength, you tire. And if you tire, you die." And that right there is a good summary of the jiu-jitsu philosophy, at least traditionally. Now with sport jiu-jitsu, it changes a little bit because of time limits and things like that. And you can get away with things because there are weight classes in sport jiu-jitsu. But in the old style jiu-jitsu, that's a great quote and something that you should really think about as you train. So Jiu-Jitsu University, check it out. It's a really good book, and I think it'll help your journey through jiu-jitsu. And that's it. So like, share, and subscribe to the channel, please, and we'll keep more reviews and more things coming out for you.